A small box sits beside your monitor, keyboard, and mouse. It costs around $349, but there's no normal Windows desktop running inside it, no pile of apps installed on it, and no folder full of your work files waiting on its drive. So why would Microsoft build something like this? Welcome to another episode of Microsoft Knowledge Nuggets here on M365 FM. I'm Mirko Peters, and today we're talking about Windows 365 Link. By the end of this episode, you'll understand what this little device actually does, what a cloud PC is, who should use this setup, and when you should grab a normal laptop instead. Most people see Windows in the name and assume this is just another small PC. It isn't. Windows 365 Link is a purpose-built access device. And here's the simplest way to think about it. Imagine you walk up to a modern office building. You arrive at the front door, prove who you are, and then walk into your own office upstairs. That office is your cloud PC. The Link device sits on your desk, but your personal Windows desktop, your apps, your settings, and your files run somewhere else, in Microsoft's cloud. For years, the normal model was pretty basic. Every desk needed a full computer. Each laptop or desktop carried its own Windows setup, its own local apps, its own files, and its own support problems. When someone changed desks, changed offices, or got a replacement computer, part of their work life had to move with them. Windows 365 Link changes where the computer lives. Instead of putting a full PC at every desk, an organization puts a small managed access device there. The person signs in and their personal desktop appears from the cloud. That sounds simple because from the user's side, it is meant to feel simple. But there are two separate things in this picture and people often mix them up. So let's separate Windows 365 Link from Windows 365 itself. Building block 1, the device and the cloud PC. Windows 365 Link is a physical device built for one job, connecting you to a Windows 365 cloud PC. That definition matters because the device and the cloud PC are not the same thing. The Link is the small box on your desk. The cloud PC is your actual Windows computer running remotely in Microsoft's cloud. Think of a filing cabinet in an office. The cabinet in front of you is where the important papers live. If you only have a key to the room but no cabinet, you cannot do much work. Windows 365 Link is more like the key and the room entrance. Your cloud PC is the filing cabinet, the desk, and the whole work area behind that door. It holds your Windows environment, your installed work apps, your files, and your personal settings. So when you sit at a Windows 365 Link device, you are not opening a little local computer and then launching a remote tool as an extra step. You turn it on, connect it to the network, sign in with your work account, and it takes you straight to the Windows desktop assigned to you. That desktop may look completely normal. You can open Outlook, you can work in Word, you can use Teams, you can open the business apps your organization has put on your cloud PC. But those apps are running on the cloud PC, not on the Link device sitting under your monitor. That's the central idea. Many people ask, so is this a thin client? In plain English, yes, it works like a modern thin client. It's a small device that gives you access to a computer running somewhere else. But Microsoft built Windows 365 Link specifically for Windows 365 cloud PCs. It is not trying to be a flexible mini desktop where you install whatever you want and use it like a normal Windows machine. There is no local app store for your everyday work. There is no normal local Windows desktop where you save documents. There is no local admin account for someone to use as a backdoor into the device. Instead, the Link device stays focused on getting you into your assigned cloud PC. Here's a real scenario. Imagine a shared desk in a call center. A worker starts the morning shift. They sit at a desk with a monitor, keyboard, mouse, headset, and one Windows 365 Link device. After they sign in, they see their own cloud PC with their apps, their layout, and the work they left open from the day before. At the end of the shift, they sign out. A second worker sits at the very same desk later that afternoon. They sign in with their own account, and the device opens their cloud PC instead. Same screen, same keyboard, same small box, different Windows desktop, different files, different work environment. The physical desk is shared, but the computer experience belongs to the person who signs in. That's why the separation matters so much. A normal desktop PC carries the work environment inside the device itself. If that PC fails, gets replaced, or sits at another desk, IT often has to deal with the local setup. With Windows 365 Link, the Link device is mainly the way in. The personal Windows workspace lives elsewhere. This also changes how you think about the device price. The $349 box is not replacing a $349 computer because it is not doing the same job as a normal local computer. It needs a Windows 365 cloud PC behind it, and that cloud PC is the part providing the Windows experience. So for you, the benefit is familiar Windows work without putting the full computer at the desk. Your apps and files stay with your cloud PC. The desk can change, the Link device can change. But after you sign in, your own Windows workspace comes back. That raises the next question. If the actual computer runs elsewhere, what does this small box still need to do? Building block 2, what happens when you sign in? Before Windows 365 link shows you anything, it needs a network connection. That connection uses either a wired Ethernet cable or Wi-Fi. Either way, you cannot skip it because the device must reach your cloud PC before your Windows desktop appears. A normal laptop lets you open local files or run apps when the internet drops. But Windows 365 Link works differently because its job only begins when it reaches the cloud. No connection means no route to your cloud PC, so you cannot start your work session. Once the device reaches the network, you sign in with your work or school account. That is where Microsoft Entra ID steps in. Entra ID is the identity service working behind the scenes. Think of it as the reception desk that checks who you are before you enter the work area. You enter your account details, and Entra ID checks your sign-in by asking several questions. Are you the person you claim to be? Are you allowed to use this device? Do your organization's sign-in rules require another check, like approval in an authentication app or a security key? Those checks happen before the cloud PC session opens. For the person at the desk, it feels like a normal work sign-in. But behind that screen, the system checks the user identity, the device, and the access rules before connecting you to your personal Windows environment. After that check succeeds, Windows 365 finds the cloud PC assigned to your account and your desktop appears. Complete with the Windows background you chose, the apps your organization installed, your files, your browser settings, and even the work you left open in a previous session, depending on how you signed out and how your cloud PC is set up. You can use one Link device in the office on Monday, then sit at another Link device later in the week and still arrive in the same Windows workspace. The desk changes, but your workspace stays the same. Behind the scenes, Intune helps the organization manage the Link device itself. Intune is Microsoft's tool for setting rules on company devices. For a normal laptop, that means lots of settings, apps, updates, and device choices. With Link, the job is much narrower. It can prepare the device, control the settings that apply to it, track its status, and make sure it follows company rules. But that does not turn Link into a normal local Windows computer. It stays focused on access. That split matters because there are really two things being managed. Intune manages the small Link device at the desk, while Windows 365 and Intune manage the actual cloud PC where the user works. One is the access point, the other is the working desktop. What about Teams meetings? This is a common question because audio and video calls feel bad when every piece of a meeting has to travel back and forth through a remote desktop session. Windows 365 Link handles Teams audio and video in a way designed to keep calls feeling more natural. Your camera, microphone, speakers, and headset connect at the desk, while your work session remains on the cloud PC. So when you join a Teams call, the device handles the local media parts of that meeting instead of treating your voice and camera like ordinary remote screen traffic. That makes a real difference in a shared office, a service desk, or any role where Teams calls happen all day. The first time someone signs in, the experience takes longer. A new cloud PC user profile needs time to prepare, and the Link device also needs to complete its first setup with the organization. That is normal for a first-time connection. Later sign-ins feel more direct because the account, device, and cloud PC already know each other. So, the full path looks like this. The Link device connects to the network, Entra ID checks your identity and access rules, Intune confirms the device belongs in the organization's managed setup, Windows 365 connects you to your assigned cloud PC, and then your familiar Windows desktop appears. You can move between desks, offices, or shared work areas, while your Windows workspace stays tied to your account instead of one physical machine. That simple sign-in screen depends on some strict limits, and those limits explain why Microsoft built this device with security at the center. Building block 3. Why Microsoft built it this way. A regular PC gives you a lot of freedom. It also leaves a lot of work and risk on the device sitting in front of you, especially when files, apps, saved passwords, and local user accounts all live on that one machine. Think about a lost laptop. Even if the person who finds it cannot sign in, IT still has questions to answer. Was company data stored on it? Were updates current? Did someone install software they should not have installed? Does the device need to be wiped, replaced, or checked for a security problem? Those are normal concerns with any full Windows device. Windows 365 Link takes a different path. Microsoft built it to keep the local device tightly limited while the personal work desktop lives in the cloud PC. That means there is far less user material sitting at the desk itself. No local user file storage, no normal local apps, and no local administrator account that someone can use to change the device into something else. That does not mean the Link device has no security of its own. It does. But its security job is very focused. Start safely, prove that the device has not been changed, protect what it stores for its own operation, and restrict what can run. One piece of that is TPM. TPM stands for Trusted Platform Module. You can think of it as a small security chip that helps protect device secrets and confirms that the device starts in a trusted state. Secure Boot checks the software that starts when the device powers on. BitLocker encrypts the device drive. Windows Defender includes a sensor that helps detect security problems. Strict app controls limit what software can run on the device. You do not need to memorize every one of those names. The plain English point is that Windows 365 Link is designed to avoid becoming an open local computer. A normal PC is like giving someone a workshop full of tools. And that makes sense when they need to build, install, download, and work without a network. Windows 365 Link is more like a secured badge reader at a controlled site. It has one clear job, and it does not hand every visitor a toolbox. This matters most in places where many people use the same desk. Imagine a clinic reception desk. Staff members rotate through the day. They need access to patient scheduling tools, business email, Teams, and other work apps. Yet the organization does not want personal files, browser data, and unmanaged software building up on the physical device between shifts. The same idea applies to a call center, a training room, a hot desk office, or a frontline location. The employee signs into their own cloud PC. When they leave, the next person does not inherit a local Windows profile full of the previous person's work. IT also gets a more controlled device to manage through Intune. IT prepares the device for the organization, applies the device rules that matter, reviews its status, and keeps it within the company's management process. The Link device does not need the same broad set of local choices as a standard laptop because it is not meant to carry out standard laptop jobs. That narrower design removes some common support work. There is less reason to troubleshoot local app installs on the Link device because users are not supposed to install their work apps there. There is less need to recover local documents from a failed Link device because user files belong in the cloud PC. If a Link device stops working, the person's Windows workspace does not disappear with the box. They use another approved way to reach their cloud PC while IT deals with the physical device. Microsoft also designed the hardware with repair in mind. The device has parts that are removable and replaceable, and Microsoft provides service guidance for repairs. That is a practical choice for a device intended to sit in offices and shared spaces for years, rather than become a sealed box that gets thrown away after a single fault. Still, do not confuse restricted with weak. The device limits local activity on purpose. The cloud PC remains the place where the user's actual Windows work happens, while Link concentrates on getting that user there in a controlled way. Security explains why that split exists. It does not mean this device is right for every person, every job, or every company. Building block 4. Who it fits and who should skip it. So, who should actually use Windows 365 Link? And who should skip it? Let's start with the obvious fit. This device works best when your organization already uses Windows 365 cloud PCs and manages work accounts through Entra ID. That's the starting point. Without that foundation, you're buying a box that doesn't do much on its own. Here's the thing. A Link device does not create a cloud PC. Each person still needs a Windows 365 license, an assigned cloud PC, and permission to sign in with their work account. So this is not a box you buy first and figure out later. It makes sense when the cloud PC plan already exists, and you want a simple, fixed way for people to reach those cloud PCs at a desk. Now, shared desks are probably the clearest example. Picture a large office where employees do not have assigned seats. Someone arrives in the morning, finds an open desk, plugs in a headset, and signs in. Their own Windows workspace appears even though another person used that desk yesterday. They do not need a local computer with their name on it. They need a reliable doorway to their own cloud PC. That's the magic of it. That pattern also works for shift workers. Imagine a contact center running 3 shifts from the same room. A training center where many people use the same desks at different times. A retail back office where staff only need occasional access to company systems. In each case, the physical desk stays simple, while the person's Windows environment follows their account. Remote work can fit too, although this is not a portable device. An organization could place a Link device in a controlled home office or a branch location where they want work to stay in the cloud PC rather than on a local machine. Contractors are another possible fit when the company wants to give someone a managed work environment without setting up a full local PC for that role. Still, the worker needs a stable place to sit. Windows 365 Link supports the usual desk equipment you would expect. You can connect 2 4K displays, USB devices, a camera, audio equipment, Ethernet or Wi-Fi. That means the desk can feel like a normal work setup. You can have a large monitor, a second screen for Teams or email, a keyboard, mouse, webcam, and headset. The difference is not what the desk looks like. The difference is where the Windows computer does its work. But before anyone can use that setup, a few things need to be ready. The user needs a Windows 365 license. They need a cloud PC assigned to their account. They need an Entra ID account that can sign in. And the location needs dependable network access. That last point deserves a pause. A laptop can go onto a train, lose its connection, and still let you edit a document that sits on the device. Windows 365 Link cannot replace that kind of work. If the network is poor, the cloud PC session will feel poor. If the network disappears, the desk cannot reach the cloud PC. For people who travel often, work in areas with unreliable internet, or need to keep working during an outage, a regular laptop remains the better tool. There is another limit that catches many people. Windows 365 Link connects to Windows 365 cloud PCs. It does not connect to Azure Virtual Desktop. Those names sound close and both relate to Windows desktops in the cloud. but they are different Microsoft services. If your organization uses Azure Virtual Desktop today, you should not assume this device will become its access point. It is built for Windows 365. Some roles will also need more freedom than Link is designed to give them. A developer who needs local tools, test software, and direct control over their device may need a full PC. A designer working with demanding local software may need a workstation. A field worker who needs offline files, a battery, and a device they can carry between sites needs a laptop. And anyone who expects to install random local apps, change device settings freely, or connect unusual hardware should check whether the Cloud PC setup supports their work before choosing Link. So Windows 365 Link is a focused device. That focus can be exactly right or completely wrong, depending on the job. The price can confuse this decision too. The Link device may cost less than a business laptop, but the hardware price does not replace the cost of Windows 365. You still need the Cloud PC subscription, the identity setup, the device management plan, and the network that carries the session. A lower-cost box does not automatically mean a lower-cost working setup. For some organizations, the savings come from using simpler desk hardware, reducing local device work, or supporting many shared desks. For others, the ongoing Cloud PC cost may not make sense compared with laptops they already own and manage well. Buy Windows 365 Link for a clear work pattern. Do not buy it just because it is the newest small box from Microsoft. Once the work pattern fits, the larger picture becomes much easier to see. How the parts connect. A desk that is not the PC. At this point, Windows 365 Link makes more sense when you stop looking at it as a standalone computer. It is one part of a connected platform. Let's break it down. Entra ID handles the person. Intune handles the device rules. Windows 365 provides the Cloud PC. And Windows 365 Link gives that person a dedicated place to connect. Think of it like an office building with assigned workspaces. Entra ID checks your badge at the entrance. Windows 365 Link is the access point at the desk. Intune sets the rules for how that access point is prepared and managed. Then Windows 365 takes you to the workspace assigned to you. Each part has a different job. The user journey is straightforward because those jobs happen in the right order. You sit down at an approved device, sign in with your work identity, pass the organization's access checks, and connect to the Cloud PC attached to your account. Your desktop appears because the system knows both who you are and what Windows environment belongs to you. That's the experience. For IT, the journey looks different. They prepare Link devices for the organization, they set up user accounts and Cloud PC access, they apply the device settings that fit the location, then they can repeat that setup across a row of shared desks without building a separate local work environment on every desk. That is a different model from the old desktop approach. With a traditional PC, each physical machine often carries a large part of the user's work setup. The computer at desk 12 has its own local Windows installation, local apps, local settings, and a history that IT may need to manage. With Windows 365 Link, the desk is mainly a place to connect. The personal Windows environment stays tied to the user instead of becoming attached to one physical box. That is the part many people miss. Windows 365 Link does not replace Windows 365. It gives Windows 365 a dedicated controlled doorway. And that doorway works best when the organization has already decided that the user's real PC belongs in the cloud, while the desk only needs to provide a screen, a network connection, and a trusted way in. Here's the thing. Before you put a Link device on every desk, there are 3 practical questions to ask. Start with your users. Do they already have Windows 365 Cloud PCs? If not, then you're also signing up for Cloud PC licenses and planning. Now look at the job. Does it happen at a fixed, shared desk with reliable internet, or do people need something portable that works offline? That answer decides whether Link or a laptop makes more sense. Finally, can your IT team handle Entra ID sign-in, Intune enrollment, and the network connection Cloud PCs need? Start small. Pick one shared location and run through a real workday. Sign in, make Teams calls, test monitors, headsets, USB devices, and see what happens when someone needs help. That pilot tells you more than any product page ever can. Windows 365 Link is a focused access device, not a general PC. When the work pattern fits, that limitation is exactly why it works. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and share this knowledge nugget with someone planning Cloud PCs.